You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome to Cabral Concept. I'm Stephen Cabral, and today we're back with another Training Thursday. So one question I get literally at least once a week is, what do I think of CrossFit? Is it safe? Is it healthy? Should I be doing it myself? What's it best for? So let's put it this way, because I really believe that there's kind of an exercise program for everyone. Most people simply need a well-rounded, well-constructed, part resistance-based workout so that they can boost their metabolism, they can tone up their muscles, which simply means add a little bit of lean muscle mass while decreasing body fat, and then doing some cardio-based intervals a few times a week as well. So what I would say is this: when you start to look at specialty type programs, whether it's a Zumba that you're doing for fun, or whether you're doing a boot camp, or whether you're doing a spin class, or whatever it might be, all of those things can be great adjuncts maybe, but let's talk about CrossFit. It's kind of in a class all its own. It is like a boot camp, but it's on that next level, and I'll tell you why. CrossFit is doing something very different. They're taking a periodization model and basically just totally pushing it to the side. Now, periodization model means this. In sports, in life, in everything, you're supposed to basically work your way up. Over a period of 4 weeks or 6 weeks, you ramp up to your hardest workout, where you're lifting the most weight, where you're maxing out at that point. And when you look at sports too, what you're doing is you're taking an off season, which might be 3 months or 4 months or whatever it might be, and then you're getting ready for the season. And with, like, let's just take football, for example, American football, you're playing once per week. After the games on Sundays, you're taking Monday off completely. Tuesdays is a lighter day. Wednesday, you get back into pads, you're hitting a little bit more, and then you start to ramp down on Saturday for your game again on Sunday. You cannot literally play a football game every single day of the week. Your body's gonna break down, and it's gonna break down a lot faster, and you're gonna get a lot more injuries. So how does that relate to CrossFit? Well, in CrossFit, every day is a competition. Every day you're training is a competition. It's either a competition against yourself, or when there's people around you, it becomes a competition with those around you, trying to do your best and outdo them. Now, the reason why this matters is this: CrossFit and the workout of the day is built on a lot of repetitions, and it's built on doing things as fast as possible. And now there are a lot of great instructors in CrossFit, but a lot of them might just get that weekend certification, and they might not be able to coach you through the form. So when you're trying to do your best possible time for the best possible number of repetitions, we've all seen those videos online where the form breaks down. People are doing really technical based exercises like cleans, power cleans, clean and jerk, overhead presses, whatever it might be, deadlifts, and they're using improper form, which is going to lead to injury. Now, it might not happen in that workout, but the accumulation of all of those lifts over time will break the body down, especially when you're stressed, you're tired, you come to the workout, maybe malnourished, whatever it might be. So I have to tell you this: no workout program should ever be a maxed effort every single day. When you use a program that's well-rounded, what you're trying to do is increase weekly for about 4 to 6 weeks until you reach that max in that exercise. You've maxed out, you're done. And that max doesn't mean 1 rep, it might be 8 reps, it might be 10, 15, 20, whatever it might be, and then you move on to that next workout. So I actually don't take a lot of issue with the exercise selection with CrossFit. They're certainly not my favorite by any means. I think it could be a lot more well-rounded. It is more just true boot camp interval-based exercises, but they include a lot of great exercise. They include a lot of great barbell-based work. They include a lot of great dumbbell-based work, but keep in mind too, a lot of clients or people that are working out at CrossFit should never be touching a barbell in the first place. They don't have the proper shoulder mobility, which means the ability to move those shoulders in the proper range of motion, which means that they should never be doing an overhead barbell press in the first place. So I have to tell you this: if you're doing CrossFit now, I certainly don't believe you can do it forever. And that's one thing I look at. Like, Okay, so you can't play in the NFL forever. That's fine. That's one thing. Why are you usually not able to play in the NFL? Well, usually you break down, and then that's the problem. Is like, do you want to break your body down? And that's the reason why you have to stop CrossFit. So what I would look at is this: if you're going to do CrossFit, maybe once a week, twice a week at most. If you're doing it 3 times a week or more, I think you're on the path to breaking down a whole lot faster. Now, if you're going to do it and you're so passionate because you love CrossFit so much, what I would say is this: make sure you're getting your 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night, because you're going to need to recover. Make sure you're eating really, really well. Make sure you're doing massage, foam rolling, that you're doing your stretching, that you're doing all the other things that an athlete would have to do, because it is athletics, to be able to combat what essentially CrossFit, the sport, is doing to your body. So I would look at it that way and then listen to your body. If your joints start to bother you, meaning like your knees, your lower back, your shoulders, you have to listen to your body. You're going to have to scale back a little bit, because we've just seen too many people. I work with a lot of great colleagues in this industry, a lot of chiropractors, and a lot of their practices are filled with 50% CrossFit athletes. Now, it could be because they're just doing maintenance work in their body, and that's great. I'd love to think that, but a lot of them are actually just injured. And I don't want to talk negatively about CrossFit, because there's so much good that can come out of it. Because one is they brought a lot of people back to an exciting form of exercise, but the other part is it's just not sustainable. The workouts aren't really meant specifically for weight loss or body transformation. They're meant to be a really hard workout, and then because of that, you may lose weight because of they do paleo-based nutrition, those types of things as well. Or again, it always leads me back to this: I cannot recommend to you something that isn't sustainable, something that's not going to lead to longevity, that's going to lead to anti-aging, and that could potentially break your body down, create some type of biomechanical deviation, which essentially just leads to bad knees, bad lower back, bad shoulders. That's going to prevent you from doing other exercises in the long run, meaning over the next decade, 2 decades, 50 years. I mean, if you're 30 years old right now in training, you should be thinking long term. I need to be able to use this body for at least the next 50 years. And if you're banging away at CrossFit every day or 3 times a week, I don't know. I mean, what's your back and your shoulders and your joints going to look like at that point? So now here's my recommendations for CrossFit. Now, keep CrossFit as the sport, because a lot of people, including myself, I love watching the CrossFit Games. I think it's really cool what people can do with their bodies, right? But you're not training a lot of those same things during CrossFit themselves. Like, you're not doing the swim, you're not doing a lot of those things. So why not do this, CrossFit? Why not create normal training programs, and then every 4 to 6 weeks, create a community competition, which means that you only have to best your own previous times. You can also compete as teams, and then you can compete maybe then against everyone in the group. But make it so that it's periodized, like every other single type of training modality that athletic trainers and really great strength and conditioning professional design. That means this: you're going to create a set of exercises that you're going to do for 4 to 6 weeks. At the end of that 6 weeks, then you can compete on those specific types of exercises working up to that. That is the absolute smartest way to design a program that's going to keep the majority of the people injury-free. That's the big thing. You have to keep people injury-free. You have to keep them enjoying exercise and not burning out, all right? So that's how I would personally fix CrossFit. You can keep it. You can keep it exactly the same way it is. You can even do circuits if you'd like, but work people up. Teach them the fundamentals. Do that to a greater degree. Pull people out. Work on their form separately as needed. I think that's really, really important. And then if possible, refer some of your people who do CrossFit the most to a functional medicine doctor in your area. Have them do their adrenal stress-based testing. You're going to get to see if these people's bodies are getting wiped out. I test a lot of people, and a lot of people doing CrossFit, and they love it, and they compete, and they do all these different types of things. But what we have to do is we have to help them support their central nervous system. And the adrenal glands, the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, HPA, as you've heard me say before, supports that central nervous system. And if you're burning people out through high intensity exercise and they're not sleeping enough and they're maybe too low in carbs, well, guess what? You're going to burn out your hormones as well. And you can test that. You can do that through a simple adrenal stress test. You can do that right at home, mail it in, get your results as well with a little periodized program as well. So anyway, I hope you take those tips I gave you at least into consideration. Think about it. In the long run, you're not going to be able to go hardcore like that for 3+ days a week. You're going to want to do 3 days a week or so of a normal resistance-based program that's well balanced, and a couple days of intervals or cardio or spin or other fun activities that you do like maybe it's indoor rock climbing, or you just love going for long walks, or yoga-based classes. All of that's fantastic. So keep yourself healthy for the long run. I'll be back with more episodes of Cabral Concept coming up real soon.
Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing, and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at equa.life, you can order an at-home lab test or a lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquaLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests, or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.